So it is my honor to introduce the great senator from New York, Kristen Gillibrand.
Here on the night you guys are already out drinking. Perfection. Perfect timing. I'm having a scotch. My favorite end of evening drink. I just want to thank you guys for being such great Democrats and for fighting so hard to win back the House of Representatives. Well done. I think we have a shot to win back the Senate in 2020. And of course, we are going to crush President Trump in 2020. Iowa, and I gotta tell you why. You take your responsibility really seriously. As First in the Nation caucus, people show up, they want to know what you believe in, why you're running, and what you're going to do, and they want to know from every candidate, and they want to hear from you several times. That is unique in all the world. It's you guys, and it's New Hampshire, and that's it. The rest of the country is not as invested. But what we have right here is direct democracy. What we have right here is people who are invested in who is going to represent them, what they believe in, what they're going to do, and you hold them accountable. That is what we need to restore. That's why I want money out of politics. We have to get money out of politics because the corruption and greed that defines everything in Washington is real. It's why we don't have affordable drug prices. When we wrote Medicare Part D, in the dead of night, the lobbyists came in and wrote the law to say Medicare can't buy a vote for the cheapest prices. That wasn't a surprise, and it wasn't on accident. It's how it works. And so if we want to actually have healthcare as a right, not a privilege, we got to get money out of politics. If we want to actually take on the opioid crisis, we got to take on the drug companies. If you want to end gun violence in this country, you need to take on the NRA. Who's strong, a president who's courageous, a president who will do what it takes and do the right thing, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Our president, President Trump, he is dividing this country. He's tearing us apart along every racial, religious, socioeconomic line you can find. And he's doing it in a way that's demeaning the most vulnerable. He's a president who actually punches down. He puts his name on every building because he wants you to believe he is strong. He is not. Our president is a coward. So we deserve a president who is brave, who will do what's right no matter what. Whether it's difficult or not, they will do what's right. They will go through fire for what is right. And I'm running because I will do that. That is what I've done in the 10 years I've been in the Senate and my 12 years in public service. I have stood up to the Pentagon twice when they're wrong. First on Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal, and then to end sexual violence in the military. As a member of Congress from New York State, I stood up to the banks when they wanted a bailout and when both parties were throwing billions at the banks. I said no, because the taxpayers would have been left holding the bag. And I've stood up to Congress time and time again. I can't tell you how many people, even in our own party, don't want to do the right thing. I remember when I was a freshman senator asking my Democratic colleagues, we need to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell because it's so corrosive. It is telling men and women who would die for this country that their service was not worthy based on who they love. And Democrats looked me in the eye and said, why would you do that right now? It's not convenient. And I said to them directly, when is civil rights ever convenient? And that's what you need in the White House. You need someone who will stand up to do what's right, no matter what. I will go through fire to do what's right. So the question we all have right now is, what are we going to do to defeat President Trump? Will each one of you do whatever it takes to make sure he is not our president for another 4 years? I will. You will. And I am unlike any other Democrat running, and I'll tell you why. My story is so different. I come from a blue state, New York. I'm for really progressive issues. I want to pass a Green New Deal. I actually want to put a price on carbon. I believe in health care as a right, not a privilege, and will fight for Medicare all and a single payer. I want full employment. I will make sure that anyone who's underemployed or unemployed gets the training they need to get a job to get them to the middle class. I will fight to end institutional racism. I will take it on in every form, whether you're talking about maternal mortality, whether you're talking about unfairness in our jobs industry, whether you're talking about criminal justice. I will take on those fights. And I've done it since I've been in Congress. And I've done it in the red and blue and purple places. My first House race, it was a 2-to-1 Republican district. A 2-to-1 Republican district. The only person who thought I could win was my mother. It's true. But that tells you a lot about my mother. My mother was only one of 3 women in her law school class. I watched that RBG movie on the basis of sex. Did anybody see it? Well, there's one scene in that movie where she's in law school and she's one of 3 women. And to see a man and these 3 women are looking at each other like, are we going to survive? That was my mother. By the time my mother was my age, she was a 2nd-degree black belt in karate. My mother doesn't just cook the Thanksgiving turkey, she shoots the Thanksgiving turkey. No joke. She actually killed a wild boar with a bow and arrow once. Not kidding. So my mother's strong. She's fearless. She's not afraid of anything. She passed that down to me. She got it from her mother. Her mother, born of very modest means, never went to college, worked every day of her life. She was a secretary of the state legislature. And what my grandmother did is she wanted to be part of politics. She actually wanted women's voices to be heard. And so what she did, well before many women ever considered it, she organized other women. She organized the women in the legislature. She organized the women in Albany. And over 50 years, those women became powerful. You actually couldn't get elected in Albany without the blessing of my grandmother and her lady friends. Because those are the women who did all the work. And I'll just tell you one story from being a kid. My grandmother hands me, at your age, a stack of bumper stickers. And she says, go into that parking lot and put those bumper stickers on every car. I said, but Grandma, how do you know if they're for our candidate? It doesn't matter. Anyway. So that's where I come from. And so when I ran in this first House district, nobody thought I could win because it was so Republican. And I'll tell you one political story just because it's funny. I called a friend of mine who is a pollster, and he's a real guy. His name's Jeffrey. He's my pollster now. And I said, Jeffrey, I want to run for Congress in New York 20. I want you to look it up and tell me my chances. He looks it up, and he says, ooh, sorry, can't win that one. I was like, really, Jeffrey? Honestly? Like, I've been helping candidates for 10 years. I can raise money. I can raise $2 million and get my message out. He said, it doesn't matter. It's a 2-to-1 Republican district. You can't win it. I said, well, I can run a perfect campaign. I can make no mistakes. I can really do it. I can win, right? No, Kirsten, there are more cows than Democrats in your district. I said, well, what happens if this guy gets indicted? I can clearly win then, right? It depends what he gets indicted for. So now you know how hard that district was. In fact, when I won on election night, New York Times wrote a big story the next day and dubbed me a dragon slayer. It was me and Gabby Giffords, the only 2 women in 2006 to win red districts and turn them blue. Gabby is still one of my best friends to this day. So I won. It was a miracle. I ran for re-election and I won again. That time, by 24 points. So you have a candidate in me. Someone who can win red, purple, and blue, and do it every time. Since being a senator, I've run 3 races. I have the highest vote threshold in the history of the state. Highest. Higher than President Obama earned when he ran twice, higher than Hillary Clinton, higher than any person who's ever run for governor or senate. Ever. And it's because I win the red, and the purple, and the blue over and over again. And I don't just have electoral victory, I bring people together legislatively. I pass the big bills like Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and the 9/11 health bill for our first responders unanimously, by the way. But I also pass common sense, smaller bills. I pass bills all the time. Last Congress, with the Republican House, Senate, and President, I passed 18 bills. 18 bills! And you ask, what kind of bills? Well, other good bills, things that Iowa would love. Money for rural broadband, money for Made in America manufacturing, money for rural agriculture and for small businesses. So I really get things done. So if you support me, if you decide to caucus for me, if you decide to push me forward, I will be your best opponent against Trump. I think his kryptonite is a woman like me who is not afraid of anything and stands up for what she believes, no matter what. When he begins to cower over me in the debates, I'm going to say to him, as I would say, any melting down toddler, your spot is over there. Let me ask questions. The floor is yours. Go back to your spot, right? That's what you tell.
Hi, Senator. My name is Jill Shudak. I'm the Vice Chair of the Pottawattamie County Democrats. I'm also running for school board.
Excellent.
Thank you.
We have unfunded mandates. One of the biggest unfunded mandates that come down from the federal government is special ed. Now we need to fund special ed, but the federal government needs to pay its fair share. Federal government should pay 50% of all special ed, not 40% and not the 18% they're actually paying today. And if you fully funded special ed, what would have happened is teachers would be paid a higher salary. Teachers would have the money they need and the capability they need to deal with their classes, and so they'd have specialized teachers to make sure kids who have challenges and needs are met directly. So that alone would make your life easier, better, and be able to offer higher pay. I also think the federal government can offset a lot of costs for our public school education. I think you can fund things like bricks and mortar. You can fund programming that's expensive that some schools can't offer, like art and music and gym and civics and ethics. You can do the kinds of things a lot of public schools can't offer. And so I believe in equalization of funding. You already have that in Iowa, but a state like mine, New York, they don't have it. So if you're in a poor area, your public school is often struggling. If you're in a rich area, your property taxes pay for everything, and they have no trouble funding everything. And so the truth is, I like equalization. I think it's really important, and we should incentivize states to make sure every student's getting the exact same amount of money, no matter what block the kid grows up on. I would add to that good early childhood education, universal pre-K, and making good early childhood education and daycare more affordable through tax benefits, tax credits, and tax deductions. And last, higher ed. I would just make sure that the federal government isn't making money off the backs of our students. And I would have them all